thanks for having me. I must say it's very impressive and really cool what you have built here. I think it's so much value adding that you can exchange in this round. And I enjoyed the two speeches already. I try to hurry a bit through the slides and hope I can contribute. Whenever you feel like, just interrupt me, ask a question. But otherwise, I try to go through now and deliver a bit, basically what I've learned over the last 4 years, building ventures at REHAU New Ventures, the corporate company builder of the REHAU Group. So first, a very brief introduction. So the company is family owned. It was founded by Helmut Wagner. He's the grandfather of my boss. So it's still kind of family business. In 1948, when he got in touch with polymer technology, basically, and he started together with 2 colleagues and 1 extruder, a business in a old empty factory where he just sub-rented and started a business. And now, 75 years later, we are 20,000 employees. And we supply the automotive industry, so bumpers and spoilers and air systems, so polymer products for the automotive industry. Every 3rd car in Europe has a part from REHAU. Construction industry, water pipes, wastewater pipes, on-the-floor heating, those basically installation systems for buildings, and also some furniture parts, so edge band technology, furniture components, and also polymer products for industry applications, like the door sealing for fridges, for example. So REHAU products are basically almost everywhere around you. You get in touch with us regularly, but usually you don't realize because typically it's branded differently. So, for example, garden hoses for Gardena, we do those, but it's branded Gardena. We have a medtech company, REHAU, they do infusion sets, but it's branded then B Brown, etc., etc. And on the cars, of course, it's then written Mercedes and so on. So usually you're not aware of our products, and we're basically a B2B company. Now, our goal is now to create new business that stands besides this traditional hardware B2B business. The core of the company has a claim that engineering progress and enhancing lives, right? So through technical development, improving the quality of life, windows that are better insulated against when it's hot outside or when it's cold outside, or the noise from the streets, that improves quality of life. It enhances lives through engineering. And that's the DNA of the company ever since. Now, with REHAU New Ventures, the company builder of the REHAU Group, we kind of did the next step and said, well, we are not an engineering company, of course. So we focus more on digital and service topics, but we want to work with this enhancing lives. So then we said, well, we enhance lives. So you already see it has a bridge to the company, the mother company, but it derives. It's slightly different, and I'm deeply convinced that it's absolutely necessary to do so. So what my recommendation, my learning from the last years is, whenever you want to do something that is different, regarding different markets, different technologies, different products, different type of risk that you want to take, it's absolutely, well, value adding if you separate those units. Not necessarily physically too much, but they need their very own turf where they can act. Because the strategy is a different one. The appetite for risk is a different one. The speed definitely is a different one. The management style is a different one. The systems we work with are different. So not only did we rebrand, but we also carved ourselves out 2.5 years ago. So we said goodbye to SAP, which was maybe the best thing we ever done, and implemented our own ERP system so that we can operate those processes that are necessary to create new companies, right? The first project we did, we were still in SAP integrated, was a venture, and we said to the IT department, well, now we want to send out invoices to customers. Can you do that? And they said, yeah, we can. It takes 1 year and costs 500,000 euro. And that was the point where we said, well, that's not working out, never. So we then really separated. We also we went out of all the processes and procedures, the process handbooks, you know. So we really built our own business system as a company builder. So we enjoy a lot of freedom. However, now it's even more important that we keep the connection to the mother. So now we need to have a closer communication line with management to you know align because now as we're separate, it's different. What the main difference then also is, I believe, we don't have factories, no production lines, no supply chain, no logistics. We only have the people around us, right? Okay, everyone has a laptop, but that's then basically it. So it's absolutely people business, and so this is our main asset, the most important one, and it all depends on the people. If we are successful or not, the opportunity can be great, but it's all about the team. It has been said already, and I can just confirm that from our experience. That was also why we set up a very different recruiting process. So I'm now able to hire a new talent within 2 to 3 weeks. In the traditional corporate recruiting process, it took 2 to 3 weeks till I got the job ad online and maybe the first interview scheduled for then in 6 weeks, you know. So speed absolutely important here, and how we deliver the brand, how we select people, how we choose the right ones, because it's all about the mindset and the experience. It has been said by you, Gary, the commitment, the customer focus, the creativity, being consistent, and we look for entrepreneurs in residence. So we define a problem area where we believe this is a great business opportunity. We analyze that, and when we come to the conclusion it's worth to start exploiting that opportunity, we hire people that have experience in founding company, because although we help avoiding some mistakes, it's always better if the responsible founder himself already was in the shoes of a founder and made some mistakes and took away some learnings and is now doing a better job, basically. So we strongly believe in experience, we strongly believe in mindset, with different working styles than in the corporate, of course. I've never hired someone from the corporate who wanted to change seats and switch over to us, because I'm truly believing that this is not working out, and I would do one exception. This is for technical expertise and sales guys. When they have a network and they really want to do that job, then I would discuss in which position they could join us and work in a startup that we incorporate. But they, I believe, could never take the role of a co-founder. So they would then be in an expert role, leading a key employee of a startup, but I don't see that they have the training, the expertise, the trained routines in the corporate are so different that I don't think that they can be co-founders. I might be wrong here, but that's just my learnings from the last 4 years. Happy to discuss. We then, after said carving out from the corporate and realizing that this is all people business, we then defined our set of values that we want to live with employees, and we did that together. I think that's very important, right? So in a corporate way, it would be top-down management decisions. This is the set of values, act accordingly. And here we sat together with our employees and said, well, how do you figure out you want to work here at New Ventures? What is it that you feel is important for being successful, for being effective, for being efficient? And this, I think, is very well reflected here. Transparency, we must be not only willing, but we must want to discuss openly everything, not hiding failures, not trying to avoid uncomfy discussions. It's about feedback, asking actively, giving, but also when you receive feedback, then treat it accordingly, value it, because it's so much value, because someone else is caring about you and helping you to improve. This is sometimes, I think, different than in a corporate where such topics are handled differently, I believe. Reliability, of course, ownership. Things move at such a fast speed, such a high speed. If you try to centralize responsibility, you have lost already. So I believe venture building only works with when you can keep up with the incredible speed, and that's only possible through decentralizing responsibility. Let the people do what they think is right. Usually they are the expert, not you as a manager. So me in that case. So I heavily trust in my people. I delegate responsibilities. I rely on their performance, their judgments, and I empower them to be able to do so. That's then my job, right? So everyone is empowering everyone else in the organization, basically. And I, for example, do not differentiate between the opinion of my boss, the CEO, or the opinion of a working student. For me, they're all equal and all valuable. And but the thing is, I need to empower the student to speak up in a meeting where the CEO is present as well. And that's then the job of a leader, I believe, in that field. And then, of course, innovation. I think that's a no-brainer. We need entrepreneurial mindset, act boldly, do things that have not been done before. It requires some a specific attitude, I would say. Always put customer first. You said that, Gary. The customer focus is absolutely essential. But we also, within the organization, view other team members as customers as well, right? So when someone says, well, I have a problem, I help them because he's my internal customer as well. He's my colleague, but also my internal customer. If I can help him, that's in helping the organization overall. And respect. I believe that only with a really lived, diverse culture, meaning not having people from different nations. I think we have 10 nationalities currently in our team. Male, female, different age groups within my team. I think the youngest is 24 and the oldest is 58 in my team. But we need to have this respect for each other, and everyone is accepted and has an active role, and we respect being different because it adds to the power that we have. We are more effective if we are more diverse. We bring together different perspectives and have the better solutions eventually. As I said, we are hiring then experienced entrepreneurs. We call that a venture studio approach. It's been intensively discussed in the US, starting in Europe as well. So I believe at the beginning, when I took over responsibility, we had a nice budget, but it was too much. I know that now. We spent too much money on things that were not necessary. We spent too much money where it was not creating value. Now we have a efficient, lean setup where people focus on, as I said, qualifying the problem field and then bring in external experts and very fast come to the decision if we do it or not. We always spoke about that we're doing it. We always spoke about working iteratively. We always spoke about having a lean startup approach. But looking back, when I took over, I think we didn't. So we were claiming that we do, but we're not really practicing it. And I think that's a pitfall that innovation brings maybe to the table, that you have suffered through. That often you believe it's done that way because it's logic and you know it's possible, but then people tend to take the shortcut and do it the more comfy way and heal problems with money. Do another research, do another study. Well, maybe we still see some potential. They fall in love with their solutions, not a problem. It's a nitty-gritty work, and as I said, we believe with now bringing external experienced founders who know what to do and who don't join us for working in an innovation lab, but join us to build a company. That's why they're here. The processes, the early stage work is just a necessity, a means to an end. And the end is founding a successful company. That's why they're here. And I think that is now better implemented with those external experts than with the setup we did previously. So having this drive, this absolute will to now do something great, I think that's a main driver of work. We have 3 offices, one in the US, then 3 in REHAU in Germany, and one in Shanghai with a small team there. So we also have this global setup. We have also a venture board, so external experts who advise us and our ventures where to improve. So with relevant know-how from one is a VC company, one is a tech research, so ETH Zurich, a renowned university in Switzerland, and one from PepsiCo in Israel, corporate innovation manager. Also here, diversity, because it adds value. It's very useful, I would say. Our process, just very briefly, because I think everyone is aware of how you do company building. I found it very important what you said, Gary, that you start with a problem. What I've seen often in innovation labs or innovation surroundings or idea management programs, entrepreneur programs, that people start with an idea. And I believe that's a fundamentally wrong approach because you're looking for opportunities, for potentials. So we always start with an attractive problem. An attractive problem is a problem that a lot of people have that becomes more relevant in the future, that people are aware of that it is a pain, and they wanna have a solution for that. At least they need to be aware that this is something where they would enjoy having a solution on. The first project that I then did when I took over responsibility here was a very hard learning for me because we had a crystal clear problem to start with. We could show that our target group was having an inefficiency, and we could show them then that if they would use our solution, they would save themselves 150 euro per transaction. And I thought that's a no-brainer, because who on earth is willing to do a transaction where you lose 150 euro if you can save it? But it turned out that the product was not successful. We never reached product market fit because we realized that the mental costs of switching to our solution were too high, and we didn't price that in. So although there wasn't macroeconomic, basically, inefficiency in that field, people were not perceiving this economic problem as a pain. So it wasn't relevant for them, and they were not interested in the solution at all because of, as I said, emotional, intellectual factors. That was a quite valuable learning for me. So now we're always looking for pain points, really pains. People are aware that they could do better, and they potentially at least are willing to accept the solution, and of course have a certain willingness to pay. After around 6 to 9 months, we sorry, there's my dog in the background. After 6 to 9 months, we come up with a business plan where the opportunity then is framed, and the business case is there. We have an MVP. We show that there's willingness to use, willingness to pay with first customers, and then we decide whether or not we start building the company. Until then, of course, we check what is the market environment. Are there already startups that we could work with? Can we integrate their technology, etc. But often we come up with problem fields, with solutions that are quite unique. So that's not so often the case that we then would work with other startups. And then in the build phase, we complete the team. We found the company as our own legal entity. We build a serial product and launch it to the market, and then scale, and then we take it from there. I think that's then clear. We always work in related areas for the REHAU group, and this year we focus on renovation. So we, I think, often corporate venture builders, or when corporates do innovation, they overestimate the assets and the capabilities of the corporate. You trick yourself into situations where you say, we have a sales network, right? So our salespeople, they are already out there. They can sell this digital product, when in fact they don't. When we did that 1-2 times, and we realized a sales person who is selling 6-meter PVC polymer profiles is not the right guy to sell software. He's not. Now it's obvious, but as said, we tricked ourselves into believing that they could with proper training, etc. Turns out they're not. So whenever you start with an innovation, I think it's absolutely relevant to be bloody honest with yourself, and don't trick yourself into beliefs that this is not an issue at all or so. And often, I've seen in other corporates already, then you think, we can use this and that, and then it's the ownership of a different manager, and he says, no, you can't. This is my tool. You can't. I need that now. It's 90% utilized, and you can't have it. I need it for my business to achieve my goals, etc. So, although there might be assets that are suitable in general, the question here is, what are really the assets and the capabilities that you're able to deploy? What are the assets and capabilities that you can really use for your new ventures, for your startups? What can you really, it's like cooking, right? You look around in your kitchen and you see, I have these and these ingredients. Can you use it? Are they still fresh? Are they good? And then you can start cooking only when you're sure that they are good to use. And we believe that we can work with the brand because we can use the brand. There's not an ownership, right? The brand is nothing that belongs to only one manager who can say, no, you don't. And we can make use of that because it's a renowned brand in the construction industry in our target markets in Europe. So it's a good thing. We can always rely on our colleagues in the core business. They are experts in their field. They have decades of experience. They're always up for interviews, expert interviews, for helping out. That's also never a problem. And we have sometimes access to customers, but that's then highly dependent already on the manager. Some salespeople are happy to help, often because they see an advantage for themselves. So it's a good, a good hook to visit a customer that you have not been to for a long time, and bring us with them. Say, see, it's been a long time. I just wanted to, introduce you to Richard. He's from our digital unit, and they have a fantastic service. And by the way, shall we not talk about the latest products that we have? So that's always nice. And we have some sales colleagues that are happy to introduce us to their customers. They do the warm intro, but that's not a given. Often sales managers are really very protective of their customer base because that's their personal asset, basically. So my advice is always check in detail, specifically, if you can really deploy the assets and capabilities. As said, we mainly work with the brand, with internal experts, and with some customer access. Okay, then maybe we skip that. Yeah, okay. I mean, why are we as a corporate doing venturing? Why should we? Why don't we leave that to the universities, to entrepreneurs like Ashad, to the young people out there? But we believe that we bring some expertise, we bring network, we bring experience, decades of experience, and we have a clear view on the market, what is happening there, what is happening in the next 5 to 10 years, what are potential threats, things that, so basically domain knowledge, things that a young student does not necessarily have, yeah, because they're not experts in an industry, but that's usually where you found interesting opportunities. Then we have extensive sales and supplier network. Again, be cautious about that. But in general, that's something that works then very well if you have the right contact on a global scale then. And knowledge and capabilities from the global community. So I mean, for our startups, it's easy to register a brand. It's easy to do patent research. It's easy to you know, to all those nasty things that are distracting them from developing the product, because we just hand it over to our colleagues in the corporate services, and they take care of that. So it's a headache-free job for our founders. That's an advantage. They can focus more on developing the product and making the sales. Over the last years, I believe we have built a strong blueprint how to build ventures. Very structured approach, but as I said, a lot of learnings in there, with a very committed group of people. We have a strong company culture that is in favor of doing what we do. And yeah, as we're a family-owned business, as said, we have often difficult decisions are often made very, very fast, and without, you know, climbing up corporate ladder on 10 hierarchy levels, convincing everyone in every department to then finally reach agreement. So speed and backing is definitely an advantage for a corporate venture builder. Yeah, so we are looking for network partners. I believe it's always creating value if you exchange on experiences on how you do things. This is just how we do it now. Maybe we do it differently in 3 years. We will know in 5 years if we are successful or not. Collaborate. So we believe that corporates can have an easier time when they join forces with others, bring complementary assets to the table, market access, know-how, etc. No need to do it on your own, right? Join forces, do something together. That's easier. And also investors. So not every startup that we found then is something that is really relevant for the group, because we do bet on a problem area. And then if the team pivots and figures out, well, the more attractive venture would be in a different route, then we do what is best for the venture. But then maybe there's no fit to the group anymore. And then we externalize those. So then we open those up. We take a minority share and just act as a financial investor to the startup. And they then follow their path. with other investors and hopefully develop a successful business, which would be great. Currently, we have 7 ventures. One is related to garden irrigation systems. I told you we produce garden hoses for other brands, but usually garden hoses are like red and yellow and I would say ugly. And we thought, well, that can be done differently. So in contrast to this technical garden hoses that are sold then B2B, we use the capabilities of the company to produce a rather nice, stylish, 60% recycling material garden hose that we sell on our own brand. It's called Livelig, together with other garden and irrigation products. We just entered the US market over Christmas, so going international now. At House, we refer leads, people who want to build a house but have no experience in that. We are the partner for them to find the right construction company that fits their needs, that have the right housing concept for them. It's very German focused because those one-family houses are typical for the German rural area, I would say. One venture that we are currently founding is about energetic renovation. Very important topic in Europe, of course, but elsewhere, I guess, as well. And people have a hard time taking the right decision. How and what should I do to renovate my house? Wonderwall is a furniture-related product for the Chinese market exclusively. Home Renew, it's a SaaS solution for remodeling companies in the US, so exclusively in the US, where we help them with an AI tool to improve the consulting process for the customers, so be much more efficient. So the internal processes of the remodeler becomes more efficient with using our tool. The customer journey is digitalized, that works well there. Connected Crafts is resolving the problem of shortage of skilled labor. So in Germany alone, we have a lack of 4 million craft people, tradespeople in Germany until 2030, 4 million. Those are people necessary. We need those people to install PV on the roofs, to install heat pumps, to isolate houses, to do every kind of job. And we recruit people in Eastern Europe, assess with an AI algorithm their skills, their capabilities, and match it to the job requirements of the craft companies. And one business in China where we're not selling only the window profiles, but we sell the whole window. So REHAU is producing window profiles, and then fabricators are producing windows out of that, and then installers install it. And so we are terribly far away from end customers. But in China, we have a small business created where we sell the whole REHAU branded window. So that's a big deal for us as a company, that it's a completely different business model. All right, that was it from my side. I hope I was able to deliver some learnings that you enjoyed. And I see time is running, but if we're running out of time, in case you have many questions, never hesitate. Contact me on LinkedIn or write me an email. I'm happy to stay in touch with you. And thanks again for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Richard. This was awesome. Anybody that has questions, please add them in the chat. First of all, I love your brutal honesty about venture builders. Here in the Middle East, we have heard so much about venture builders and how they're the cure to everything. And I think people are exaggerating what they actually can do. A lot of people don't have the proof points even to show what they have done. Repeatability is much more complex than what a lot of people claim. So I really loved hearing all of this from you, and that was really amazing. And I really thank you for that kind of, as I say, brutal honesty about venture builders, the pitfalls, the complexities, and now I see we already have questions, so I hand over to Arshad here, who wants to ask something in particular, I guess.
No, yeah, in particular, I just wanted to comment, and as well as the thing he mentioned about collaboration and sharing of ideas. This is something that I just wanted to tell people and the community is the problem is not the idea. And you should start discussing your ideas with people, especially mentors, because if you have something, there might already be someone already doing it, or there'll be a prototype around the world. As now, as you we know, we are in UAE, and it's like a global community. If you are thinking about doing something in UAE, there is already a model in the Germany or in the US that is doing the same thing. Understand from them and replicate that, and be open. And there is no idea that is a big top secret right now, other than what OpenAI is doing. And we all know what OpenAI is doing. The biggest top secret in the world is AGI. We all know that. And if you have the money, you can build your own AGI, or else you can collaborate. And that is a very good message, Richard. And I personally reach out to you to connect one-on-one more. Thank you.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you so much.
I really want to dig a bit more into. I'm not sure if other people have questions about the venture builder, but I think one of the things you said quite a lot of things that were interesting, but I think like what I noticed is that when we talk about venture builders nowadays, I think a lot of people are coming from the software background, so purely software. I think where you see a lot of repeatability is in things like marketplaces, because these are things, and also maybe a bit of the transportation, last mile, whether it's delivery related or transportation. So some of these, let's say, problems have been kind of solved in multiple ways. And the venture builder, I think that's what I want everybody to understand. The venture builder is a way to de-risk ventures across multiple dimensions. One is the idea itself, the team, the go-to-market strategies, the funding, and so on. But in your business, you have a lot of physical products as well. So the de-risking there probably has other dimensions as well that are related to. You mentioned the kind of the sales, which and the assets also. So that venture builders, they might have different types of assets, and the assets you think you have are maybe not as good as you think initially. Can you maybe expand a bit on that part, the specifics of a maybe construction or with physical products related type of business? What is the additional risks there?
I mean, first of all, I would say the construction industry is not an industry. That's unhappy news, because you don't have a scientific approach on how things are done. You don't have basically a operational excellence approach or learnings. Everyone is doing it a bit differently. In every country, construction works a bit differently, and every construction company is doing it a bit differently, and everyone is doing it absolutely inefficiently. So it's not an industry like the automotive industry, right? Where you have.
Maybe I didn't ask the question. What I meant, in your case, for instance, if you have to build physical products, do you do prototyping a bit differently? Like in software, everybody understands, but let's say, are you using more simulations, 3D printing, and these type of stuff too?
Absolutely. I mean, hardware products are hard. That's the thing. We try to cut out slack time through 3D printing, prototyping. Testing with end customers, however, is difficult, because often you cannot show them the final product until you've really done it. So it's, I believe, associated with much more risk doing hardware. Because at one point, and for us in a polymer product, it's always when you order the tooling. When you then place the order for the tooling, 100K gone, then the tool arrives, and that's how your product looks like. It's a lock-in. you can't change the tool. I mean, you can, but then you buy another tool, another 100K. So it's associated with much more uncertainty, and we try to reduce that through thorough interviews, through visualization, through 3D printed, through samples, see if this is the texture then of the polymer, do you like that, does it feel right, etc. But still, if you ask me if I would do rather hardware or software, I would always go for the software. It's easier.
Yeah. All right. Then my last question is still kind of hardware related a bit. Do you also collaborate with, let's say, universities? What I'm thinking of is that here, for instance, we have. I worked at one of the universities that was working on new materials, and often they have ideas about use cases, but it's very difficult for them to find the right corporate partners to take this a bit further.
Yeah, that's usually done by our colleagues in the core business. So the material development department, they do that a lot, and they are absolute experts in having a look and knowing what is it suitable for and what it's not. They then often come to us and say, see, we have this in mind. Do you know something about that use case, or can you help us with the market survey or study on that? So we sometimes work hand in hand there, but usually such material-related topics are done by the core business, because that's our core capability, basically, the extrusion process and the material competencies. And yeah, that always goes hand in hand with the use case. Because the polymer product has specific characteristics that you need for this use case, right? Is it UV stable or not? Is it especially tight or soft, etc., etc. Yeah, but happy to connect. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Richard, and thank you. I think we run over time now, so I don't want to keep everybody any longer. Thank you so much, Richard. Thank you again, also Gary and Ashad. It was really great to have all three of you here. The community, I think, enjoyed this. We have also recorded the session, so we'll share this also in a week or so with the rest of the community. Thank you all, and talk to you soon.